I feel like I have a responsibility because I'm a human being, and I feel like I have a platform because I'm an actress. And the fact that I have the ability to draw attention to things that I really feel are important, I feel like I would be doing my integrity a disservice if I wasn't sort of active philanthropically. I feel like my parents instilled that kind of a value system in me at a very young age. It was always, you always had mandatory chores, and I had to help my sisters with what they needed, and I think there was just a sense of you have two hands for a reason, one's for you and one's to help. I became vegetarian at 11, I think because I was a very stubborn kid. A lot of times kids don't like salads or Brussels sprouts or vegetables, and I was the polar opposite. I did not like steak or chicken or meat, but I loved salads and greens. And I kind of always had the inability to distinguish between my our house pet and the burger, and I didn't understand why one was okay to eat and not the other. It was very confusing to me at a young age. So when I learned the definition of what a vegetarian was, I claimed it. I've always been an extreme animal lover, to a degree that maybe was very strange when I was a kid, because I was way more comfortable talking to the dog in the corner than I was hanging out with my family and friends at some points. I remember going through very specifically a phase when I was about 6 or 7 where I would only eat next to the dog. I wanted my food next to the dog bowl. I was eating it with my face. It was a whole thing, and I was experimental. I don't know. Animals make me happy. Anything that depends on you, the mercy that you show to anyone is really, is who you are. The reason that I love organizations like, you know, Farm Sanctuary that takes in abandoned farm animals and maimed ones, and Helen Woodward that places so many cats and dogs and so many other different animals per week, that I just feel a responsibility for things that kind of can't help themselves. I became involved with Invisible Children about 7 years ago because my phenomenally inspiring friends from San Diego made a documentary called Invisible Children, The Rough Cut, that just kind of exposed me to a problem that I didn't know existed, which was that children were being used as soldiers all over the world, but specifically in northern Uganda for the longest running war in Africa, which I had no idea about. And I think that, you know, it just really sunk in at that time when I saw this documentary and I saw my friends involved in this cause, how many causes you don't know about and how sort of sheltered your life can be if you allow it. Through becoming friends with the people who started Invisible Children, I met the founder of Charity Water, who I think does phenomenal work by raising money to build wells, and they work, I think, in 17 different countries all over the world, and their primary focus is in Ethiopia. And I did a Charity Water birthday campaign last year and raised $100,000, and a couple months ago got to go see them start to drill the wells. It was a really, really good feeling to know that I had been a part of something that was going to positively affect people that I had never met. I think a really good place to start if you want to get involved in philanthropy or helping in any way is to sort of first identify why you want to do it. And maybe it's just a selfish reason that it makes you feel good, you know? And sometimes that's really what it is for me. It just makes me feel good. And if that's selfish, then so be it. But I think leading with your empathy is never a bad thing. And that I try to do that in my life. I feel like a better person. I feel more confident in how I relate to other people when I'm trying and striving to be empathetic. But I think a good piece of advice that I got is to not let your intellect trail far behind. I think a lot of mistakes are made when you are a bleeding heart, which I am definitely guilty of, and you don't really consider how best to affect someone else. Because handouts and charity is not what it's about. It's really not. It's about building someone else up and helping them to help themselves. I feel like there's been a lot of great strides made in bridging the gap between ignorance and awareness as of late with the media and the internet, but I think that awareness and activism could be closer hand in hand, and I want to be active.